From the North Shore of Long Island, this is the Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase here on News 12 Varsity. And after plenty of excellent action we've seen today, we'll see two of the best here in the tri-state area and the nation, as the Garden City Trojans will take on the Morristown Quakers. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino here with you. Thanks so much for joining us from Cold Spring Harbor High School. Well, the rain's starting to come down just a little bit, but that's not going to slow down anybody on this turf today. You are looking at two of the best programs maybe ever in the entire nation. Two legendary coaches, Diane Chapman for Garden City, Deanna Knobloch for the other side with the Quakers. Combined a ton of state championships, including last year's for Garden City. Well, they met in this showcase a year ago. It was a memorable one, an overtime winner by Jen Medjid after a little bit of controversy, but Garden City still came away with the OT victory. Meanwhile, Morristown, they're still looking to get back to that TOC where they have been absent the last two seasons. They feel this could be a group that definitely has the potential to return to the promised land. Let's take a look at some of our impact players for today. Well, we mentioned about Medjid scoring that big overtime winner last year. Now she's one of the leading players for this attack. The junior has 28 tallies on the season for 41 points. Meanwhile, for Morristown, she's the heart and soul of the program. She's going to Penn State next year. Quinn Nikolai, 18 goals, 31 points this year. So that's where we are. It's Morristown, it's Garden City, and it's next on News 12 Varsity.
It's the reason we keep watching, because of underdogs, crazy comebacks, and the last-minute heroics. Because we love it all, the face-offs, the hits, the big-time goals. Because winning never, ever gets old. So, we keep watching anywhere we can. Never miss a moment. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
We are live from the third annual Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase, Cold Spring Harbor, Long Island, New York. This is a tri-state clash between the Garden City Trojans at 11-0. And the Morristown Quakers out of New Jersey from 7-1. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino here with you. Tom Schnarr is upstairs. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. As you see, a couple legendary coaches. There's Deanna Knobloch, 26th year as the head coach, and she has built some program for Morristown. Let's take a look at their starters. Her daughter Casey Knobloch is on the attack, along with the midfielders Panzarella, Riley Brown, Ava France, Kaylin Field, Kayla Frank, and Quinn Nikolai, who we highlighted before with 18 goals on this year. On the defensive side, it's Wright, Dadino, Lawler, and Dalmas in between the pipes, the sophomore Emily Toft. Meanwhile, there's Chappie, Diane Chapman, year number 16, another state championship last year for her girls lacrosse squad. Here are their starters on the attack: Jackie Bratton, Kelly George, and Jen Medjid. Midfielders Concannon, McDonald, Caval, and Cook. And on the defensive side, Galzerano, Conway, Keeney, and Weisenberger. In between the pipes, it's a three-year varsity player and a first-year starter in Caitlin Larson. So, Garden City from right to left, white uniforms, tops and bottoms with the maroon numbers. And going from left to right, the New Jersey squad in all black, trimmed with gold, going from left to right. Kayla Frank will take the opening draw against Leanna McDonald. We're underway, fresh 25 minutes on the clock. Thanks so much for joining us. What a battle we are expecting to have here today. These two teams did meet in last year's second annual Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase. A little bit of controversy towards the end, but Garden City came away with that overtime win after Michaela Bruno tied the score late in the second half. It was Jen Medjid with just 3.9 seconds on the clock to tack home that game-winning goal in the first overtime period. Here's the Moorestown attack, as they'll work on the far wing. Darging hard is Nikolai, who is really the heart and soul of this program. 103 points last year, this season 31 in the 8 games played. Ava France will scoop the ball up on that far side and float it back out to Panzarella, the junior who will remain a Quaker, except for Penn. Down low, here is dodging behind the cage. It's number 27, Kaylin Field, the junior. And back out along the far side, Casey Knobloch. Knobloch rips a shot, and scores. 1-0 lead for Morristown. 1 minute and 16 seconds in. So Knobloch, 13th goal of the season for the junior, who was out all of her sophomore campaign. What a story this was with a broken back. Came back this year and has come back really, really strong. She's been working very hard in the offseason to get things going. And, well, she gets things going for the Quakers just 1 minute and 16 seconds into this contest. Knobloch will be a JMU Duke in a couple of years' time. The coach's daughter and also the assistant coach, Casey Knobloch, on that staff. It's an interesting situation. Not the first time, of course, we have seen daughters or sons of coaches who are the head coach. It's always very interesting how they approach that. As a turnover will give Morristown the ball after the first DC win for Garden City. And talking to the head coach, Deanna Knobloch, she said, listen, if she has a bad game, we don't talk about it until she brings it up to us. Obviously, we have plenty to say, but you want to wait until she ends up taking that approach. So here's the first clear of the game for Morristown. They'll go from left to right. This is Emily Toft, and the pass will ricochet right off the edge of the cross of Brittany Wright. So Jackie Bratton, the senior, who's committed to play at Army. Varsity player since her freshman campaign. Back to the midfield for Sarah Cabal. And they'll work it now behind the net. Number 17, that's Kelly George, who'll be playing at Marist. George had 2 goals in their last game against Long Beach. Spinning around, hitting almost the 8, and then pulling back out is Jen Medjid. And back up top for Bratton. Split dodge towards her left inside the 8, shoots on the run, and a big stop by Emily Toft. First one she'll make today, and she'll push it from left to right. Here comes Delaney Lawler, the sophomore defender, crosses the restraining line, and a perfect clear for Morristown. Well, good save by Toft, who is a first-year starting goalie. Her and Maddie Lucidi are the 2 netminders. That has been an area of, they want to obviously continue to improve, but they are hard workers between the pipes. Behind the net, Riley Brown, the sophomore, will cradle with the ball, and she'll hand it off to Caitlin Field, the junior. Back out to the midfield. Here's Panzarella. Panzarella with the right hand, shoots low and scores. A 2-0 lead for Morristown. That's Panzarella's 18th of the season. And it comes at 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Already a 2-0 lead for the Quakers. A team that has really been a staple of New Jersey lacrosse. And boy, we can give you plenty and plenty of records that they have been able to accomplish over the years. Not in our tri-state poll, only because of where they are located in New Jersey. They're a South Jersey squad. But one of the best in the nation. Good start thus far. Here's Celia Concannon, the senior, who picks up that draw control. Second win so far for Garden City. Jackie Bratton switches back to the left hand, weaves inside the 8, dispossessed. And it's picked up by Kayla Frank. Frank on the mid side of the field, and now she'll pass it over to Nikolai, who ends up losing the ball right in front of the Garden City bench. It will be a foul. She'll have some more room. Good, Nikolai, one of the captains for this squad. You look at Morristown this season, they actually did lose a game, and it's very rare to say that they lost a game. They fell to Bridgewater Raritan just a couple of weeks ago. We'll actually see the Panthers of Bridgewater Raritan in our next game on News 12 Varsity when they'll play Middle Country out of Suffolk County. Here's a good dodge inside, and excellent slide is cutting off any room. Back up top, Kayla Frank. Frank has some space, will float it behind the cage to Panzarella, feet in front, and the first stop made by Caitlin Larson. Larson made 5 stops in that win over Long Beach. She has been their starting netminder this year. Player who is a 3-sport athlete as well. So Garden City looking to try and get on the scoreboard here. So we're 5 minutes in the books. A 2-0 lead on Knobloch and Panzarella's tallies. Catherine Conway, the junior, feeds to the far side. Deanna Weisenberger. She'll be playing at Stony Brook in just a couple of years. Number 3 team right now in the nation. Devin Heaney, the senior who's committed to USC. Nowhere to go in the midfield, tries to finesse a pass, and it's a tough one. Morristown will have the lacrosse ball as Delaney Lawler picked off that pass and scooted it right up to the cross. Here's Riley Brown. Not the biggest player you'll see on the field, but she plays such a big role for this team. When you look at Morristown over the last couple of years, they're the winningest lacrosse program in the nation in the last 19 years. They have won 93% of their games. You heard that right, 93% win percentage. Just remarkable. Nikolai along the left wing. That pass got blocked by Weisenberger, popped out and just outside of the 16 and picked back up one more time. Here's Ava France. Crossfield pass, they have it, and they score. That's Kaylin Field picking up goal number 10 on the year. 3 goals to start off this game for the Quakers here in the 3rd annual Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase. And Chappie's going to call a timeout for Garden City. So that's Field's goal, assisted by France. And Morristown, again, the way New Jersey is structured, if you're not familiar with it, there are sectional state championships, and then those sectional champions move on to play for the Tournament of Champions, the TOC. Well, when you look at what Deanna Knobloch has done for this program over the years, they have won more TOCs than any other sport in New Jersey. They once won 12 straight and played in 16 of the last 19 Tournament of Champions, but a 2-year hiatus for the last couple of years of winning that title. Last season, it was a loss to Summit in the Group 3 finals, and the first time Summit actually won a title. First time actually they've lost to Summit, I should say, since 1999. Year prior, a 20-win season. They won the sectional, but lost to Oak Knoll in the first round of the TOC. And then back in 2014 with a really star-studded class. A couple of players, actually, who are on the Tewaaraton watch list right now in college, won their 4th straight Tournament of Champions. This is a program that at one point won 228 straight games against New Jersey teams. Won 82 straight games early on in the early 2000s and then broke their own record from 2012 to 2015. They are the staple of New Jersey girls lacrosse. There is no question about that. And they love to test themselves with some of the best competition you will see, not just obviously in the Garden State, but throughout the tri-state area. Another draw control win. That has been a strength thus far for Garden City. Still nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. About 7 minutes in. Of course, missing some key players from last year's group that won a state championship. Michaela Bruno, one of the all-time great athletes out of Garden City. A 2-sport athlete actually in college for Georgetown. Carrie DeFelice, who's playing at Syracuse. Katie Muldoon, a Harvard field hockey player now. The list goes on and on and on. Here's a shot and a goal. That's Jen Medjid. Her first goal of the game. Garden City is on the scoreboard. It's 3-1. Well, that is a returning name that, of course, we know from last year. Jen Medjid. a really clutch player who has a knack for scoring big overtime winners. Last year against Morristown, and this showcase, as we alluded to before, but even 2 years ago, scoring a double OT winner against Suffern. Older sister Amanda now over at American, teammates last year. Junior is committed to Boston College. So Medjid's goal at 7:18. Team high 29th of the season. And a draw control win, a hustle play by Riley Brown. Riley Brown, one of those players wearing number 2 along the near side of your field. And she has the picture right now. Just because she is tiny, she actually sees a bigger player and wants to go after her even harder. Here's a wraparound attempt by Panzarella and a stop by Larson. Caitlin Larson, committed to Loyola. The future Greyhound having some trouble back in her own end, will bounce a pass along to the near side of the field. That's Catherine Conway, a first-year starter. Crossfield pass right on the money, and they'll weave right through center for Galzerano, a 4-year varsity lacrosse player who is a Michigan commit. Weisenberger. Now goal line extended for Caval. Caval, the senior, who's going to play at Villanova. Jackie Bratton, 25 points on the season. Plenty of different players on this team. It's not just one that stands out for Garden City when you look at the stat sheet. Leading this year is Medjid with now 42 points after her last goal, but Kelly George has 37 points and then a few others in the 20s. 5 different players are in those 20s, with 7 players in total netting and scoring 20 points or more. Here's a yellow card, and it'll be the first one we'll see today, as Brittany Wright will sit in the sin bin for 2 minutes. So big spot right now for Garden City, who will play 1 up for the next 2 minutes on the clock. Chance along the near side. McDonald, feet in front. Medjid has 2. Back-to-back goals for Jen Medjid. It's a 1-goal contest. This comes on the player up. So give Kelly George, the helper, her 22nd of the season. Should be at about 1:45. We have 1:50 on our clock. And it'll be at 1:45 still remaining on the player advantage. Draw control is won on the far side by Keelan Field. She has a goal today. Ava France came up as a freshman. The junior is also committed to JMU, along with her friend Casey Knobloch. Misses a pass on that far side. I'll roll out of bounds. Almost hitting our photog Dave Anderson on the far side of the field. The Garden City will take over the control from right to left. We approach 10 minutes into this game. It was Morristown scoring the first 3 goals of the contest. In transition, goal line extended, turnaround shot, and a goal. Sarah Cavill, 15th of the season. We're all knotted up at 3 goals apiece. So Cavill on the player up. The second one on the player up. So we have Medjid, and Cavill, the last 3 goals for Garden City. We got a new ball game here at Cold Spring Harbor. Garden City, good start to the year, 11-0. And taking on some good competition from, of course, around the island. And playing in different areas as well. We mentioned about the Long Beach win, where they outscored their opponent 9-2 in the second half. Started off the season at Port Washington. It was a 3-goal win, then a 1-goal victory over a very tough Massapequa group. Wins over Farmingdale, a tight one against Syosset. St. Anthony's they defeated by 9. And they played 2 teams out of Massachusetts, Longmeadow and Needham. Victories in both, and maybe their toughest game was just a couple ago against Darien. We saw Darien earlier. Lisa Lindley, a legendary coach out of Connecticut, who has always made that group one of the better teams you will see in that state. 17-11 victories, so back-to-back years. Garden City has defeated Darien. Darien got a win earlier today. Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase. They defeated at Bridgeport, Blue Point. Bayport, Blue Point, Bridgeport. I have Connecticut stuck in my head. Dylan Butler keeping me honest over here. Dylan usually on the call with us. Today he decided to rest his voice up. He's got a busy week of shows. Well, you can catch all his post-game action on news12varsity.com with some great articles to be read. Under 14 minutes to play here in the very exciting opening half of action. Dodging up top, it's Avery Jaffrey. Jaffrey is a freshman already committed to be a Terrapin at Maryland, doing a pretty good job as a freshman. But Nikolai will end up getting our first free position opportunity of today. It'll be straight on against Larson. Here's Nikolai, weaves in, bounce shot, scores. Beat Larson in the lower left corner, and the lead is back for the Quakers of Morristown. So Nikolai's first goal of the game, 19th of the season on the free position. With 13:29 to play here in the first half. The rain starts to pick up a little bit more here in Cold Spring Harbor. Unfortunately, we didn't get a day like last year where the sun was shining and we all were coming home with tans, but still always such a nice event. Great turnout as expected. And what a job done by Andrew Rappaport, the ref, as you can see him on News 12 Varsity. And a longtime producer at News 12 Long Island. And of course, this is the Gains for Brains Showcase, raising money for the Making Headway Foundation. And what a real program this is for them. And of course, to donate, use the Venmo app at Gains for Brains. So feel free, make some donations. It goes to an absolutely great cause. Foundation dedicated to the care, comfort, cure of children with brain and spinal cord tumors. They have raised a lot of money over the last few years. Of course, when you ask about, ask all the coaches about being able to play in this event, not only do they get some of the best competition around, as Raff does a really, really good job. Here's a shot inside, that misses wide from Ashley Nutt, the sophomore. But to be able to play in something like this now back-to-back years for both of these groups, 3 straight years for Garden City, I feel it's a good learning experience. What Deanna Knobloch said to me, it's a good learning experience. There's more than just lacrosse. There are other things going on in the world. You have to be able to give back. Shot inside, and back-to-back tallies. This one's Ava France, the junior. It's 5-3 Morristown. So Fran's a 2-year varsity starter, a 3-year varsity player. Picks up goal number 14 on the year. And it comes just 50 seconds after Nikolai's go-ahead tally to make it 4-3. So 2-goal lead is back for a group that has been averaging close to 14 goals per game and have surrendered, on average, just 5. France had a 4-goal outing in that win over Marincosas Valley this past Tuesday, where they had 10 different goal scorers. Wasn't the prettiest game, a little sloppy at points, but still coming away with the victory. And of course, Coach Knobloch wants the best and expects the best out of her group each and every year. That's what builds such a strong program that they have had. Nikolai back out to the midfield. Kaylin Field. Field has a goal today. She'll work out with the left hand on that far side. Met by Caitlin Cook, the sophomore of Garden City. Field back with the right hand. Hits just outside of the 16. Nikolai. In the top of the 12 for Riley Brown. Inside, hits the 8, crosses middle of the field, scooted back out. Not picked up yet. Who has the possession? It will be Garden City. Catherine Conway with a big ground ball. Hard pass on the far side. Pavel couldn't handle the pass, and Field will now push from left to right. And some of these passes, of course, not all of them are on the money, but with the rain, definitely has some bit of a factor. Feed in front, big stop by Larson, and she absolutely robbed Ashley Nutt. Nutt was right on the doorstep, tried to turn around with the right. Good cut. Panzarella, far goal line extended. Here's Riley Brown. Got the slide, moved back out to the far wing as Kaylin Field will control. Here's Nutt. Shoots. And a whistle came. This will end up being a free position. Second one today we've seen. They are 1 for 1. A chance to extend the lead to 3. Ashley Nutt, the sophomore, shoots, rifles it wide. Actually, I believe it got stopped. Oh, hit off the bar. I'm glad I have extra eyes in this press box. Hit off the left post. So Nutt having some good opportunities. A player who was injured last year and would have been up as a freshman. Garden City down by 2. McDonald switches to the left hand, and she cuts right through the 8-meter. Weaves back with the right. Dislodged from her cross. Scooped back up. Concannon feeds off to Medjid. Rainbows a pass wing to wing to Kelly George. Jackie Breton, a hard-nosed attacker with 23 on the season. Coming off a 2-goal outing herself, surveys the field, switches back to the left hand, and really nowhere to go right now. Just waiting for her team to cut at the right opportunity. What defense being played on her by Nikolai. That's why number 51 is that go-to player. Well, Breton has some room, switches back to the left and scores. What a nifty goal by the senior. It's a one-tally contest, 5-4. And it's Jackie Breton buries goal number 24 in 2017. Well, that was a beautiful dodge right to goal. Nikolai stayed with her for the most part, one-on-one, nowhere to go, worked her out to the far side. And then eventually that split dodge, taking her out of her shoes, had some room, shot on the run. So with less than 9 minutes to play, here in half number 1. The draw control scoots all the way out to the far side of the field. Some contact there. Let them play on. It'll bounce out of bounds. Morristown will have the lacrosse ball. Rain picking up a little bit harder here on Long Island. Expected to rain the next couple of hours. Nothing too heavy to wipe out any of these games, of course. A lot of competitors out there. On this field, in the next couple of games, we will actually have broadcast for. Middle Country against Bridgewater Raritan at 4 o'clock. You're stuck hearing me for the next game. And then followed by the host, Cold Spring Harbor and Summit. I know all the Cold Spring Harbor girls are very excited about that as they sit in the box. Long day for them as they have been volunteering nonstop, doing excellent work, helping this showcase be run. Here's a chance inside. Panzarella scooped up the ground ball inside of the 8, finished with the right hand. The 2-goal lead is back for Morristown. Timeout, Morristown after the goal. Panzarella, her second of the game, 19th of the season. So Chappie's group on that far side have some work to be done. They were able to tie up the score, have not led in this contest. Garden City, of course, one of the perennial powerhouse groups in, of Long Island, of course, but really in the entire nation, and that is why Morristown loves to be able to play them and have the opportunity to take on a team at this caliber. The Trojans have won their last 29 games. Last loss, by the way, I know the ladies in the box right now are going to enjoy this one, came to Cold Spring Harbor last year during the regular season. A 10-5 win on this field. So 29 straight wins for Garden City. 18 straight to end 2016, including a run to win the state championship. And a squad that has lost just 3 times since 2015. That's when they fell to Wantagh in the county semifinals back in 2015. Also in the semis the year prior to the Warriors of Wantagh. Got back to the county championship, won it, got through the LICs, won that one at Stony Brook, and they went on to states for Chappie's 8th state championship in lacrosse. Diane Chapman, 14 total state champs in 2 different sports since 1995. Also the head field hockey coach for a program that for a long time was a powerhouse. They've lost to Lakeland the last couple of years. Earlier today, Darien defeated Bayport Blue Point. I got that one right this time, Dylan. Not Bridgeport. Bayport Blue Point in a 12-4 contest. And then we also had Ridgewood defeating Wantagh 13-6. In a whistle-filled affair on this field more than a couple of hours ago. Some excellent games also on the upper field, which we'll have highlights for you on News 12 Varsity. Farmingdale and Yorktown played this morning. Yeah, Mattituck and Albertus Magnus, who I believe are still playing right now. It might be halftime. I'll have to get an update on that score for you. Here in the 3rd annual Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase. Rolls out of bounds, Quakers ball. And the Trojans are unhappy about this, and I believe the officials might discuss. And the official on the near side of the field said he got deflected. Still Morristown ball, right at midfield. Riley Brown feeds a pass to Casey Knobloch. She got the scoring started today, a minute and 16 seconds in. Knobloch back in 2015, her freshman year, 21 points on 13 goals. As 13 and 15 here in her second year back after missing last season. The JMU product works up high, crossfield pass to Riley Brown. Brown dodges down the right side of the field to far goal line extended. Looking for Cutter, switches back to the right hand. Seems to be trying to hit Robin Panzarella. He's the only player on Morristown with multiple goals today. Instead, Nikolai will take it south of the cage. Matched up with Celia Concannon. Here's Nikolai. Floats back to Knobloch at center point. Good dodge, cutting inside, some space. The shot and just misses wide. That was Avery Jaffe. Nikolai, Knobloch, France, they were all brought up at freshman. Coaching staff feels okay with having a freshman up there if they are deserving. This one thing also, New Jersey is different than Long Island. On Long Island, you can bring up an 8th grader. And we have seen plenty of middle school products play huge roles for many teams. This will be a free position opportunity, the third one today. Jaffrey with the right hand. Puts on the brakes, comes back out to center for Riley Brown. Panzarella. Netted 2 today. Good matchup with Heaney. Far goal line extended. Kayla Frank. Nuts pass is a little low, but Knobloch is able to control. Jaffrey to Brown. Nikolai, excellent split dodge along the goal line. 5 minutes to play here in the first half. An exciting first half it has been. Panzarella. And a foul. 1 for 3 on free positions. Panzarella looking for the hat trick. Takes it with the right hand, it got stopped. Not sure if it actually hit Larson. Right into the teeth of the D. Jaffrey tries the crease dodge. Here's Nikolai in space. Spins around, tries to sandwich her way between a couple. No call. Referees have been letting this game play, and I think you'll want to see that with the kind of 2 teams we have out on the field. Conway through midfield. And a foul will provide some more space for Catherine. Kelly George had a nice pass before. That led to a tying goal. Celia Concannon. South of the net. Cavill. Pocket to pocket behind the net. Kelly George along the near goal line. It's the area she likes the most. Back out to midfield. Here's Medjid. Dodges straight to goal with the left hand. Got stopped by Emily Toft. One of the better saves she has made today. And she has made a few of them. Keeps it at a 2-goal affair. Brown back in midfield. Pulling it in. It's Frank and Nikolai with 3 minutes to play here in an opening period. Morristown started off with a 3-0 lead. It was tied at 3. 2 of them coming on the player up. And 3 of the next 4 goals scored have been to Morristown. Here they look for more as Panzarella cut right through the 8 with the ball. Cradles behind the net. Feeds a pass to the far wing for Knobloch. Nearly stick check from behind by France. France tried to finesse a pass inside. It was a hard one. Couldn't be handled by Kayla Frank. Here comes Garden City on the run. In transition, Leanna McDonald. What a play on the other end. Delaney Lawler. Not the first time she's had a cause turnover today. Delaney Lawler, one of their toughest defenders. They pulled her up as a freshman. Her and Dalmas, Julia Dalmas, number 52. Both tough as nails. That's kind of the MO of a lot of Morristown players. You have to be tough. You have to be gritty. Plenty of skill out there, but they're known for developing some of the tougher players in the Garden State. Garden City Mall. Played back to goal, and Larson will survey to turf. Outlets a pass along the near sideline, headman up the near wing. Concannon crosses the restraining line. Here's Celia Concannon. Elects not to go to goal, almost handcuffs Bratton, now behind the net. Trying to find the cutter, it's loose out in the midfield. Knobloch comes away with a lacrosse ball. As we approach 1 minute to play. Panzarella puts on a second gear behind the net. Good slide, takes away, fed in front, trying to find Nikolai. It's loose inside of the defensive 8. Garden City picks it up in their own real estate. Then Concannon gets stick check from behind on a nice play by Fields. Here's Nikolai with 20 seconds to go in the half. Tries to feed in front on the cutter and couldn't hit her target in Emily Culbertson. Gets her first action today, number 17. Nikolai already 1 for 1 on her own free position. It's the 5th one today. Nikolai couldn't get the ball out of her cross. Heaney with an excellent defensive play. Weisenberger up the middle. Here's Bratton with 3 seconds to play. Bratton needs to get it off, shoots 5-hole and scores right before the buzzer sounds to end the opening half. 0.4 of a second on the clock. Don't forget about the play from Heaney, the other end. Heaney's play on Nikolai's free position leads to a break up the middle. And Bratton gets her second of the game. It's now 6-5. 0.4 of a second remaining. This will be a ceremonial puck drop, as we like to say in hockey terms. Whistle blows, and that's the end of the first 25. Real exciting game thus far. Garden City has not led. They have tied it. They bring it back to a 1-goal contest. It's the 3rd annual Games for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase on News 12 Varsity. Garden City trails Morristown 6-5. We'll be back with more only on News 12 Varsity.
You watch because it's your home, your school, your team, because it's your brother, sister, daughter, and son. Because you love the "can you believe it, did you see that?" and the "oh my goodness, what a win" moments. So yeah, you watch. Never miss a moment. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Welcome back to News 12 Varsity. 25 minutes on the clock. We'll bring it down to the center draw circle in a 6-5 game. Morristown is leading Garden City. First 3 goals on the board went to the Quakers. Knobloch, Panzarella, and Field, and Medjid scored 2. Cavill on the player up, as those last 2 goals were on the player up to tie the game at 3 apiece. Nikolai on the free position, then France gave a 5-3 advantage to Morristown, followed by Bratton's goal with under 9 minutes to play, back to a 1-goal affair. Panzarella netted her second of the contest at 6-4. And then what a play this was by Devin Heaney. The senior captain is going to go play at USC next season. She was able to stop Nikolai pretty much on a stick check. Nikolai had a free position with under a minute to play in the half. That led to a transition play. Bratton, beautiful goal. She cut right towards the cage. 0.4 left on the clock. We're back to a 1-goal affair. Caitlin Larson still in net to our left for Garden City. Emily Toff, the sophomore, in goal to our right for Morristown. Quakers wear the black uniforms, tops and bottoms. Garden City in the all-whites. Right off the edge of the stick, it'll ricochet out of bounds. So Morristown will look to clear from right to left. Quakers 7-1 on the season. Lone loss this year, as we mentioned before, Bridgewater Raritan. We'll see them next game. 14-8. They were down 11-5 at half. Just so rare to see that happen with this group. And talking to Deanna Knobloch about it, said they're not used to losing in this program. Of course not, especially when you have as many state championships as you do. Felt this would be one of the best tests for them all season. Need to respond. And Nikolai has been one of those players to respond, as Dalmas will bring it up through the middle. Here is Nikolai now, number 51. Works past her own bench. And we'll look around for some options. Nikolai, the 4-year starter, had 7 goals against Rumson Fairhaven in that opener, who was considered one of the top 5, top 10 teams in New Jersey. As now Caitlin Fields hit the top of the 12-meter and really nowhere to go. Tries to lower the shoulder as Celia Concannon will work with her. Behind the net for Ava France. France, crossfield pass, straight away. Here's Nikolai. Face dodge with the right. Got the slide and the double team, feeds inside. Panzarella shoots and stonewalled by Larson. Maybe Caitlin Larson's best save of the contest. Panzarella already with 2 goals today. Looking for that hat trick. Caitlin Larson, first-year starter, long-time varsity player, making the save. Dalmas, strong play in the midfield, scoops up the ground ball, finds Nikolai on the far side of the field. Crosses the restraining line, and will work far goal line extended with that 1-goal lead. Here's a chance in front, switching to the left. Panzarella stopped by Larson. Diving out is Concannon, but picked back up again by Panzarella. They'll play on as Casey Knobloch works along the left wing.
Great save, Larson.
Riley Brown floated behind the net for Panzarella. Robin really a playmaker all over the field. Trying to find the cutter, and that was intended for Brown. Back out to midfield. Picked up by Nikki Dadino, the senior who is committed to Vanderbilt, a 3-year starter. Been really an anchor of this D. So quick to the ball, and you can see why. Morristown surrendered 40 goals this season in the 8 they have played. That's holding opponents to 5 per game. That's where Garden City is right now. Cut inside, couldn't hit. Nikolai scooped up on a hustle play by Knobloch. Fields floats far side to Frank behind the net. They'll play catch as France will look for somewhere to work to. Panzarella, such a solid, sound lacrosse player, but this pass goes a little bit too far. Back out to the midfield. Another good play by Nikki Dadino. Second time Dadino has made that play in this very same possession. Along the crease, shot to goal. The hat trick for Robin Panzarella. 20th of the season, a 2-goal lead returns for Morristown.
Moorestown goal. Robin Panzarella, her 3rd of the game, assisted by number 51, Quinn Nikolai.
Nikolai will get the assist on Panzarella's 3rd. It comes at 4:27 of the 2nd frame. And that was a lengthy possession, and even though, of course, it will not come up on the stat sheet, you have to give a lot of credit to number 21 senior defender Nikki Dadino, because 2 passes went all the way back out to the midfield, right along that restraining line, and guess who was the closest to pick up the ball? Dadino, the 3-year varsity starter. That leads to another tally for the Quakers. They've led as much as 3. It's back to a 2-goal lead. And now they'll have the possession in midfield. Here comes Kayla Frank as she flies down the near sideline. Frank matched up with Weisenberger. Knobloch floats it out to the left wing to Panzarella. Now Frank straight away, Nikolai. Hard dodge up high. do love that Morristown has all these little phrases and little songs every time one of their players touches the lacrosse ball or makes a good play. Heard one before for Nikolai. It was an Ice Ice Baby before, that's what I'm hearing. They're really involved. Frank. Here's some room for Panzarella. Draws a free position. 1 for 5 back in that first half. They scored on the first one for Nikolai. Panzarella already with 3 goals today, looking for number 4. She'll take it one-on-one against Larson. Shoots low and scores. 4th tally of the game for Robin Panzarella. Back-to-back goals for the junior. It's a 3-goal lead, 8-5. So a 3-0 lead was the largest. It's back to a 3-goal advantage at 8-5. Garden City really has not had a possession. One very early here in the half, but it was a turnover. Just a couple of seconds in. Back to the draw circle. Trojan ball. McDonald. Headman's Concannon, who feeds to Bratton. Here's Jen Medjid. Medjid, over the last couple of games, 11 goals, 3 assists. Add another 2 to those numbers, and she scored back in half number 1. Kelly George, south of the cage, works back from X. And Cavill will survey. Looking for the cutter, hits Bratton. Bratton back to the left hand, and the good slide takes away a shooting opportunity. Dadino with another strong play. She has been exceptional here in the second half. Concannon. Kelly George, her highs this year, 7 points against Needham of Massachusetts and 5 assists against St. Anthony's. The main distributor of the lacrosse ball. Matched up with Nikolai, cuts inside of the 8-meter. Draws herself a free position opportunity. This is actually the first free position today for Garden City, believe it or not. Kelly George, 16 goals on the year, looking for 17, misses wide. Bratton was there on the backup. Floats it out to midfield. Here's a hard dodge by Medjid. Dislodged from her stick, still loose in the middle of the field as Delaney Lawler will pick up the lacrosse ball. So how about Delaney Lawler, the sophomore? One of the toughest defenders they have, brought it up as a freshman. Got some more playing time, even started a couple of games by the end of the season. And she does not play like a second-year varsity player, that is for sure. Panzarella, she's been the star today for Morristown with 4 goals. And what makes Panzarella so interesting is she's one of their better attackers right now. She's been hot as of late. But she loves to back check. She'll always make things happen. Far from a lazy player. You can't say that about really anybody that comes through a Morristown program. You just won't play then. Looks in front, quick stick on the doorstep. Kayla Frank. A 4-goal lead, largest today for Morristown. And what a pass from Ava France. So France to Frank. 8 minutes and 57 seconds into the second half. Largest lead today. Give Franz a goal and an assist. And that's Frank's first point today. 13th goal of the season for the sophomore, who is committed to Virginia Tech. Another DCW for Morristown. They'll work it out from right to left. Really, Garden City, like we said, have not had many possessions here in the second half, and that is just how teams can take huge, huge runs. Panzarella cuts along the near wing. Concannon stays with her. France. To Isa Arabello, the sophomore, number 12, who comes into the game for the first time. Real fast player on both ends of the field. Panzarella just taking her time. Good first step she had on Catherine Galzerano. That's been the matchup for the last couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned for our next game, the 4 o'clock affair. And 2 of the star players for each team committed to the defending national champion UNC Tar Heels. Tell you that in just a second. Here's a chance in front. And tack on another goal as Emily Cuthbertson picks up her second of the season. The senior took a nifty feed up high. It's a 5-goal lead on 4 unanswered goals. So Emily Cuthbertson heads on to another player on this team to tack on a point today. She's had 4 unanswered goals here in the second half. Cuthbertson, first-year varsity starter as a senior for Holy Cross. Nikolai will actually get the assist as we get the official word. So Nikolai already with 2 different assists on top of another goal. So she has a goal and 2 helpers. Of course, we highlighted her before the game. She was expected to really stand out. Well, as we said, our next game should be another good one. You see 2 of the better teams in both of their regions. Bridgewater Raritan may be the best team they've had in their program's history. Alyssa Dragon Frazier, third-year head coach, who was All-American when she played there as well, against Lindsay Dolson's squad out of Middle Country. And you'll see 2 players who will be together in a year playing for UNC. Jamie Ortega, the senior for Middle Country, and Ali Mastriani, one of the best in the Garden State, also a senior. And, of course, this is all for the Making Headway Foundation. Gains for Brains. If you want to donate, pull up the Venmo app and go to @GainsForBrains. Anything that you can provide is obviously a very generous offer, and there's been a lot of teams who have actually done little things to try and increase that. I know Darien actually had something where every player was going to donate at least $50, which is really nice of them. And they presented a check to RAF actually earlier on today. Darien already got a victory. But everyone really is contributing in a lot of different ways. We have great bake sales over on the right. Need to hit the gym after today after eating some of that food. It was delicious. And by the way, I should mention, when I did stop by the tent before, RAF doesn't make picks. But I did have someone in his family make a pick. Max Rappaport, who was not even a year old, or is just about a year old, I held up the 2 teams. I said, Garden City, Morristown. Which one did he put his hand on? It was Morristown. And right now he has it looking pretty good, up by 5 with 14:29 to play here in the second half. So Max is the expert. Might have to go over to him for game number 2 and see who's going to end up winning the winning the Middle Country game next against Bridgewater Raritan. Let's see if he goes 1 for 1 on his picks this week. So back to the draw circle. More than 10.5 minutes into the second frame, which has been all Morristown. McDonald and Nikolai. A win for Nikolai. Arvello and Panzarella. Team high now, 20 goals on the season. And she took over that lead that Quinn Nikolai did hold for the majority of this year. Panzarella now with 20, with Nikolai having 19. Has some space to run. She cuts along to the near wing. Far side is Fields. Floats it down below the goal line. Near goal line extended now for Arvello. Of course, you see Garden City at number 2. Morristown, I don't want to get an official word from everyone who makes these polls where they would end up being. But again, we only do not rank them because they're not in our coverage, but they would definitely be a top 5 program, if not maybe a top 3 in our tri-state poll. And they're getting fired up on the Quaker bench. I wish there was another camera we can show you with what they're doing without disrupting the play. Maybe a little picture-in-picture for you. But they have a whole dance to every single song as well. And this all goes on during the play. That takes a lot of practice. How much practice time do you think that takes away? Well, they always talk about putting in the extra time after hours, hitting those extra shots, so that might be something they do. Picked up by Cuthbertson. Culbertson already has a goal today. Nikolai has 1 and 2. She dodges up high. A hard one to goal, shoots and scores. Quinn Nikolai. Looked like it got deflected on the way to the cage. But 5 goals here in the second half for a 6-goal lead. So Nikolai's 2nd of the game. 4th point of the contest as well. Up to 12:26 remaining. A 5-0 run. When Jackie Bratton scored that goal with just 4/10 of a second remaining in the half, you kind of felt whoever's going to get on the board first, that next goal is going to be so important to start the second half. Well, Garden City had the first possession, but they turned over the ball. And the Quakers have been very good at the draw circle today. That was a good hustle play by the sophomore Riley Brown. Casey Knobloch. He's one of the many goal scorers today for Morristown. Working around the net now, it's Fields. Fields had a nice little pass before in this game. That led to a goal. Works along the near side. Well, of course, last year's contest, was in the back of a lot of these Quakers' minds. We said they do not lose often. If you go back to the last few years, from 2000 to the present. And there's another chance in front. Good stop on Nikolai by Larson. Second chance, misses wide.
Save number 99, Caitlin Larson.
Caitlin Larson keeping this at a 6-goal affair. Then you go back to 2000, another wraparound, and the right hand misses. Closest to the end line will be Garden City. So I'll have the lacrosse ball and look to clear. In 2000, some of these girls were just born. And guess what? In that time, in their lifetime, for many of these high school players, Morristown lacrosse has only lost 25 games, 391 and 25. Deanna Knobloch, 521 wins. She's lost just 40 in 26 years as a head coach. More wins than any high school girls lacrosse coach in the state of New Jersey. I'm talking to some of the other coaches in the Garden State. Of course, everyone is used to saying all the time, you know, Long Island is the hotbed. It's Long Island against the world in terms of lacrosse, and you know everyone else gets annoyed by hearing that. But lately, you know, you kind of see some of these teams, and the way this entire showcase was set up was to have an opportunity to see other squads. You see teams from Connecticut and New Jersey, Hudson Valley, all meeting each other during the regular season. And besides this showcase, many of these teams will take their talents, not to South Beach, but to Connecticut and upstate New York and Massachusetts. They want to test themselves for a tough schedule. A little more than 9 minutes to go here in the second half. Really exciting first half. It was a one-goal game at halftime. The Quakers have just absolutely taken over, but never count the Trojans out. All you need is one to get back in this contest. It's all about a possession. They've had some unforced turnovers lately. As Kelly George will move it now behind the cage for Sarah Mackey, the sophomore, will be playing at Florida, number 7. She cradles with the right hand, almost runs into her teammate in Cavill. Moves along to the far goal line. Medjid tries to find the cutting Bratton. Couldn't hit her. So use her legs instead. Cradle, she hits the 8. Feeds in front. Mackey draws a foul. Free position, only the second one today. Mackey elects not to shoot. George, far goal line extended. Up high. Here's Mackey again. Medjid hits the cutter, but couldn't be held in by Caitlin Cook. Really sound defense by Morristown. Even though it's been a lengthy possession, and the longest one Garden City has had in this half, they haven't been able to get a shot off. Cavill also plays for Diane Chapman on the field hockey squad, as many of these girls do. Chance in front for Medjid on the quick stick. Couldn't get all of it. Toft will have the lacrosse ball. So Medjid retain the lacrosse ball on the far side. Works around the cage. Spins back to the left hand and she hits the 8. Good one-on-one defense. And turns it over. Right to Riley Brown. She has had herself a good contest. The first-year varsity starter. Long outlet pass, but it's picked off. Galzerano. 4-year varsity soccer player. Won states and was also captain of last year's team. And a senior who'll go to Ann Arbor, Michigan and play her collegiate lacrosse for the Wolverines. 6:20 to go here in the second. Kara Metzler. Her sister Carrie over at Sacred Heart now. On the squad last year. Kara, the sophomore, who has a verbal commit to Holy Cross. Pulled in by Medjid at the center of the field. And Bratton dodges hard. The slide takes away any opportunity to shoot. Near goal line, Cavill. Kelly George, who has scored multiple goals in 5 of the 11 this season. Still looking for one today. Medjid, split dodge, rolls with her right, and draws herself a foul. Well, this is my first look at Jen Medjid this season. You could just tell she's playing on a different level from where she was last year, and a real important piece to a stacked squad that Garden City had. 5 minutes to go, they need at least 6 goals. Medjid shoots low, kick save, and a beauty by Emily Toft. And now the clear attempt. Emily Toft, who got the win last game, 5-0 record. Very eager to try and get her game to the next level. Again, in first-year starters, they lost Jessica Goralski, who is now at Friends Central in Pennsylvania. So a couple of first-year netminders in there. As Casey Knobloch will just run away from danger past Medjid, as the ride, of course, will pick up, and the intensity has to pick up for Garden City. They're just about 4 minutes away from having a 29-game win streak come to an end. And when did the win streak start? When was the last loss? It was on this field. Also good news, looks like the rain's about to stop. But I'm no meteorologist, so you never know. Could start snowing soon. It is Long Island. Brown. And she got up and got that. And Wright will have it just along the edge of the restraining line, and Riley Brown can stand there and take off more time in this clock as we're at 3.5 minutes to play. Riley Brown is going to town is what I made out of that last chant. Not as creative as the other ones we have heard. Here comes a double team. Arvello and Panzarella. Tell you what, Panzarella, 4 goals today. She was the star of that first half and scored the first 2 goals here in the second. I don't think you can count one clear-cut MVP of this game for Morristown, because there are plenty. Brown could be one of them, but she is dispossessed of the ball. Medjid up the midfield. Knobloch on the stick check coming from behind. Will foul her and slow down the rush. 2:30 to play. Only 2 games left on this field in the 3rd annual Games for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase, and of course we hope that you stay with us throughout the day. Here's a yellow card against Julia Dalmas. So they've already scored 2 on the player up. Kelly George grips and rips a shot up high.
Got a nice shot by number 17, Kelly George.
I love the PA announcers here. They're so creative. Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Well, actually, you can get the cookies towards that goal over in the corner. It's where they have the entire bake sale. What a shot, though. It's back to a 5-goal game. First goal of the second half, believe it or not. And it comes just 2:17 to play. For George, that's her 17th. The 3rd player-up goal today. So, plenty of time. Again, it only takes about 10 seconds to score a goal. You just have to win the draw controls. And here's a win. McDonald works to the left side. Far goal line extended. Bratton in front. Shoots and scores. Back-to-back goals. And it took just 12 seconds. So Medjid with the assist. Bratton with the third goal of her game. 11-7. I'll make a change at the draw circle. Field will take this one against McDonald of Garden City. 2:05 to play, still a $1:43 to go on the player up. Nearly picked in by Garden City. Pass up the middle of the field, Nikolai hits Field. Panzarella on the far side of the turf. Need to force a turnover here. The nearly empty net as Larson comes way out there on the ride. Here's the double team. Now a triple team. Knobloch. Did she step out? Nope, she got pushed instead. Minute 37. Knobloch. Hard pass up the middle of the turf. Here's Medjid. A 4-on-4 the other way. Dislodge as Wright got the stick in a little too tight, though. That is a foul. So now you have a 5-on-3 if you hurry with 1 minute and 23 seconds to go. Medjid hits the 8. Doesn't find the cutter. McDonald. And a foul. Caitlin Cook will take a free position. Be the third one today. Cook shoots low, stopped by Toft. Emily Toft, the sophomore, with 2 big saves late in the second frame. Save of France. Will hustle past midfield. And Garden City trying to argue that she stepped on the sideline. So this will be Garden City ball. Directly at midfield, 46 seconds to go in a 4-goal game. Cavill. Split dodge with the left. Poke check from behind by Nikolai. Loose on the carpet. Scooped up. Chance in front. Medjid. Quick stick goes. Kelly George, her second of the half. So 26 seconds remaining. 4 seconds left on the player up. And Dalmas will be released. It's a 3-goal game. So now, Garden City needs a quick win and a quick goal. 3 goals not out of the question in this amount of time. I said it can take about 7-8 seconds to score a goal. You just need to win this quickly. Draw control 1, Concannon. Headman's a pass through the midfield. It is picked off by Kaylin Field. And Kaylin will run out this clock. Morristown will avenge that loss in the Games for Brain showcase from last year, that overtime defeat. And they'll be heading back to New Jersey with their 8th win of the season never trailed in this game. A huge second half where they did not allow a goal until the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Scoring 5 unanswered to extend the lead to 6. And that is the ball game. 11-7, the final score. The Morristown Quakers defeat the Garden City Trojans. 11-8 the final. Morristown moves to 8-1 on the season. Garden City falls in their first game after winning the last 29. What a battle between these two teams. The Quakers with a huge second half is what pushed them ahead for the victory. We'll be back with more and talk to one of the victorious Morristown players in just a little bit, only on News 12 Varsity.
It's the reason we keep watching, because of underdogs, crazy comebacks, and the last-minute heroics. Because we love it all, the face-offs, the hits, the big-time goals. Because winning never, ever gets old. So, we keep watching anywhere we can. Never miss a moment. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Welcome back to News 12 Varsity. It's an 11-8 victory for Morristown over Garden City. Here with a player who scored 2 and 2 today, Quinn Nikolai. And Quinn, I mean, obviously on this field last year, it was a tough loss for you guys in overtime. Now you bounce back, and what really was the difference going into this year's game at Garden City?
Obviously, after last year, we wanted to come out and get the W. We also wanted to come out and show that we have confidence and we have the girls that we can make it really far. So beating this team really proved to everybody that we aren't one team to look over.
Well, it was really back and forth first half, and even though surrendering a goal with just 0.4 of a second left going into halftime, what was said with a 1-goal lead going into the half?
We didn't want to have our heads down for letting up that last goal because obviously we were still winning. We still had the momentum going in, so we didn't want to let any of that down and let them come in on top. So we just had to go out there and really give all the effort and heart and not let anything down.
That's exactly what we saw in the second half. 5 unanswered goals. You didn't allow a goal until the last 2 minutes plus in the contest. What was the difference in the second half defensively and offensively?
We had confidence, and that's what we've been lacking so far this year. And we really, after the first half, realized that we are a team that can stick with a team like Garden City, and they're an amazing group of girls. So just the fact that we had the confidence in the second half really made us all work together and stay on top.
Coach Knobloch has said it, you really the heart and soul of this program. For a younger group this year, what is the difference in this team compared to the last couple of years that you've had?
We're young, and the younger girls are starting to step up, and there's not just one girl on the team that has been stepping up. There's been multiple girls, and having that really just shuts other teams down because they don't know what to do about it.
Still plenty of season left, obviously, going forward. I know a TOC is always on the mind. What's it going to take to get to that next level?
Not underestimating any of our opponents and going out and playing our absolute best and giving our heart and soul into this program and not letting down for a minute.
One of the best programs in New Jersey, and a big reason why. Quinn Nikolai, she had 2 goals, 2 assists today in an 11-8 win here in the 3rd annual Gains for Brains Girls Lacrosse Showcase. That's going to do it for us here on News 12 Varsity. Many thanks to our entire crew, as always. For producer Tom Schnars, I'm Dan Savarino saying thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.